This weekend, the Broadway mega hit Wicked makes its way onto the big screen. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comments section. Share your excitement level and thoughts on Wicked. Gotta give me that point of reference. Are you someone that loves the book, loves the play, or are you someone that's brand new to the world of Wicked? And what did you think about it? As for me, this wasn't a film that I really had any interest in. I've never seen the play. I'm familiar with a number of the songs because they're such a big part of pop culture, and my wife, daughter, and sister are all obsessed with Wicked. And so, I have some familiarity, but it's just not something I'm specifically drawn to. I was just going into it curious about this pop culture sensation, not because I specifically was excited to see the singing witch movie set in the Wizard of Oz. This is also a movie that's based on a Broadway play that's based off of a book, and that book you can listen to for free if you sign up for a free trial of Audible at audibletrial.com/Sean Chandler. With that link, you can get a 30-day free trial of Audible as well as a free book of your choice. And according to my wife, right now, Wicked is free on Audible. So with that free trial, you can listen to Wicked right now because it's just free on Audible as a member, but also you can get another book of your choice for free. That's audibletrial.com/Sean Chandler for a free 30-day trial of Audible plus a free book of your choice from their entire library. There's no reason not to do it if you're curious about checking out the book. But what did I think about the movie as someone that wasn't really interested at all in the film? Just pop culture curiosity. What did I think about the film? Let's get started with the good. And there's no reason to beat around the book. This movie is, simply put, a tremendous production. The pure spectacle of it all just draws you in from the opening shot. There's such an assured direction to the entire film, where there was a clear vision for what they were trying to accomplish. Everything is working in unison to just bring this world to life, to bring this stage production onto the big screen. And it's just, simply put, a triumph. Like, not since, Harry Potter took us to Hogwarts has there been a movie that just so transports you into this other place in time, into this mystical, wild, and crazy world that you just feel like you're immersed in it. And it's kind of everything, where the production design makes everything seem so massive. Every time you turn a corner, you're on a new, gigantic set with so many intricate little details everywhere that you look. Like, there's a sequence set in a library that starts off with these bookshelves that are spinning, and it goes backwards, and you realize you're in this gigantic room with 50, 100 people in it, and then it goes into a big dance number, and everything feels so well thought out and cohesive that you're just brought into this world. Every room has its own distinct style to it. Each character has some elaborate wardrobe and color scheme to it. Everything feels thought out, and it fits together nicely. And then combine this with something I just mentioned before. Of course, there's a number of musical numbers in here. All of them have so many people involved in it. They have these long takes with wide shots so you can see everything. You're in an intricate environment with all these moving parts, maybe spinning bookshelves with 50 people dancing while we're singing, and the camera is moving all at the same time. Director John M. Chu started his career 20 years ago doing a couple of the Step Up movies, which of course would involve a bunch of dance numbers, and that's kind of where he started his directorial film career. And then he did G.I. Joe movie and the Crazy Rich Asians. He did In the Heights. And you can see where there's 20 years of directing films that have set him up to uniquely be able to handle a production of this size and have massive sets, huge dance numbers, and to pull it off and do a fantastic job with it. Where once again, that idea of being immersive and everything feels huge, where every shot feels expensive because there's so much on screen, there's so many people on screen, and the way it's shot has this camera in motion, and everything from the actors to the room to the props to the camera have to be choreographed in sync with one another to pull off every single shot in the movie. And it works. Today's video is sponsored by Uncommon Goods. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here. Black Friday is next week, and we've been blasting Mariah Carey in my household for weeks now. Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that it's exactly what I wanted feeling. So like for my wife, I bought one of these retro picture viewers with the circle with all the pictures on it. And it comes with a voucher where I submitted pictures of our family, our kids, our wedding, and they're gonna send me back those little picture wheels so we can have our own little customized picture viewer. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the US. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts. When you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small and independent businesses. And with every purchase that you make, Uncommon Goods gives back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've already given back over $3 million to date. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/Sean Chandler. That's uncommongoods.com/Sean Chandler for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Once again, I'm not like a big fan of musicals. I'm not specifically drawn to like amazing dance choreography and musical numbers, but they're just done with so much excellence, so much care, that it's tough to ignore it. And beyond just the musical numbers and things like that, it just feels like this other world that we're exploring. Once again, in that vibe of Harry Potter and Hogwarts, where it feels like you're going off to this distant, fun place where you just love to discover all the little different ways that they do things, all the little fantasy elements, and how normal things are done so different in this world of Oz. And there's not a lot of movies just fully immerse you in that, the way that, say, Harry Potter did that, and now this film is doing that. Other thing, of course, you have to talk about here is the cast. And, you know, our main two leads, of course, are fantastic singers. I think they do a good job of delivering the proper emotions, whether that is Glinda coming off as the superficially perfect person that everybody loves, but being so charming but unlikable, but kind of likable all at the same time. She pulls that off. Flip side, we have a ton of just the tragic story of our wicked green witch. There's such a tragedy in there that I think they're able to pull off. You feel all the sympathy, but she also always comes off like a strong, confident character while hurt by the world around her that's rejecting her. The standout to me, though, I'm going to go with Jonathan Bailey, is Fierro. I'm sure I mispronounced that. But, he pops up into the film and immediately comes off so cocky, but so charming and likable. Just everybody he talks to, he has this fun rapport and chemistry with them, and just brings to life every scene that he's in, whether it is dialogue, joking, dramatic, or his big dance number in the library. He's so good. And one of those things where I'm not super familiar with him outside of this, and you just see him and you go, man, that guy's a star, right? This guy is really good. Thing that surprised me about it, I went into it with a general idea of the plot and the journey that let's take the villain and show how she's misunderstood, which has become like a cliche of in particular Disney live action films, but we do that a lot these days. The book goes back 30 years. The Broadway play goes back over 20 years. And so the source material predates the Hollywood trend. But I only kind of went in knowing the general idea of that and was really surprised just how effectively it really does pull you into the tragedy of this character and makes you actually care about her in a way that feels believable and doesn't feel forced. You go, oh yeah, what if you were the one green person in a world of non-green people? How would society treat you? And it builds out a whole arc there where you care about the friendships, you care about the way she's treated by other people, and then it intertwines these other ideas about the politics of Oz and kind of what's going on with the animals and stuff that I was not expecting at all. In particular, how it just so seamlessly ties into her specific journey as an outsider. How would she respond to this treatment of others, seeing others being othered and marginalized? How would she respond to that in light of how she's been treated? And it just kind of like perfectly syncs up with the character arc, the themes, and plot points, all leading up to the third act of this film, which I guess is, well, it's part 1 of 2. I have not seen the musical, so I don't really even know where the story goes after this. But as a part 1, it does a really good job of crescendoing the central conflicts that all kind of emerge between plot points, themes, character desires, as well as just the spectacle of Oz, of the musical numbers, as well as pulling together all these musical numbers, and I would say having the best musical number as the crescendo to the film, where it really feels like we build up to this big release at the end of this movie, that it is a part 1, it is a cliffhanger, but it also feels like the story we've been telling here, the character arc that it's being explored here, the conflicts, the desires that are being resolved here have been resolved. There's a part 2 coming. But this was a nice crescendo for everything we've been developing here, but we also know where it's going next. It does all of that really, really well in a way that feels satisfying. It doesn't just feel like we cut it off in the middle. It feels satisfying, but we're also anticipating everything that's next because we did complete this journey that we've been on. That's how you do it right. So as someone that was not looking forward to this movie, the trailers did not win me over. The subject matter was not interesting to me. It absolutely won me over. They did a fantastic job with this film. There's a few more things to talk about here. Let's move on to the mixed aspects of the film. There's just one subject I wanted to talk about here. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just a topic to discuss. One of the big things people have been talking about with Wicked is, did it need to be split into 2 parts? This was the big question my wife had before I was able to see the film, because the movie itself is part 1 is the same length as the Broadway play in its entirety. So the question is, was it padded out? Did it need to be split in half? And that's even the conversation I've had with a number of people afterwards. As someone that does not know the full story, I do not know what was added to this version. It was not obvious to me what they added, and it was not obvious to me what you could cut out. Everything that was in the film felt like it either served plot, themes, character, or entertainment value. There's a whole lot in here, but the way the pieces fit together was like, well, I mean, you kind of need all of these pieces for the crescendo to properly work, for the character arc to properly work, for you to care about what's taking place, for you to understand this conflict inside of Oz. So for me, as the person that doesn't know what was added and has not seen an alternative version that is half as long, I didn't feel like it was padded or stretched out or anything like that. And maybe some of that is simply they did a good job of creating a world that immersed you, that sucked you into it. So you wanted to see this story play out, or I wanted to see this story play out in the scope and size for this length of time. From there, let's move on to the bad. And honestly, I don't have anything to mention here besides a few nitpicks. Generally speaking, for the movie that they were trying to deliver, I think they did a great job at it. They delivered the movie that they set out to make, and they delivered a movie which fans are going to love. There's just a few other things in here to nitpick and mention. First one that comes to mind is that a couple of our legacy actors brought in here to, provide some famous actors in here are not as good of singers as our leads. So Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, they're not on the same caliber as our three leads here, and it shows. I went to go see the movie with my sister. There's actually a little bit of a civil war in my household. I was going to bring my wife, and then my daughter, who desperately wants to see the movie too, wants to see it with her mother, and so then my wife had to drop out so as to not upset the daughter who really wants to see this movie as an event with her mother, which is not a normal thing. They don't normally get that passionate about seeing things together. That's just how excited people are for this movie. But so I took my sister, and she's a bit of a purist typically when it comes to adaptations and things like that. And like her only real issue afterwards was to say that, yeah, Michelle Yeoh and Jeff Goldblum obviously were hired for their acting prestige, not their singing ability. And in particular with Michelle Yeoh, because she really enjoys the Broadway version of it, she was disappointed that the singing there wasn't as strong. I don't think they do they're not a bad job of singing, but when you have world-class singers and then just actors who have gone to a singing coach to be able to pull it off, you see the difference between every other song and performance and there too. I guess this is a very minor issue. The other one, another nitpick thing here, but our three lead actors are in their 30s. I assume their characters are supposed to be like 18 or something like that. And so when two of your leads are in their late 30s playing, I think they're supposed to be teenagers, you notice it. Does it actually detract from the film or anything like that? Do I really care? No, but it is a thing to mention. There's been some discussion on the internet about the way that the movie's shot, and people are backlit, and the bright backgrounds and kind of shadows on the faces. If that sort of thing bothers you, there's a couple things like that that'll bother you. But every issue about this film are really kind of the nitpick things. It's not the actual building blocks of character, story, production. I went in with very little interest in this film, and simply put, it easily won me over. I think this is one of the best films of the year. It is an incredible production, just on a production level of the scope and size of how big it feels, how much it transports you to the world of Oz. I loved all of that. And then also, you care about the characters. You get emotionally invested in what's taking place, and it builds to such a great crescendo that someone like me that wasn't interested was won over, and now I'm very excited to see part 2. Overall, it's an A on the entertainment scale, an 8 out of 10. That's just for me. And this is a must-see film for Wicked fans. You already have your tickets. You are already excited to go see it. I'm telling you, you're going to have a fantastic time this weekend. If you go with your friends, theater kids, you take your daughter, whatever it is, you're going to have an awesome time at the movies. And even that 8 out of 10, that's just a preference thing. If I'm giving a musical an 8 out of 10, it's probably really good. Be sure to check out those links below for today's sponsors. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.